What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we are going to look at the Miami Hurricanes playbook in NCAA Football 06. Now, a few things before we get started. Remember that in NCAA 06, you can create your own playbook. You can grab whatever 9 formations you need to create it. You do not have to use these exact 9 formations I'm going to show you that make up this playbook, but hopefully this video will give you some ideas to think about, some direction for a future offense and a future dynasty. I will have timestamps throughout the video for each formation. That way you can go back and look at something if needed. And I also will have some links below the video as well in the description, especially that I have been creating team playbook files for each one of these videos. And for this example, you're going to see a Miami Hurricanes playbook, and you're going to see the link. And you click on that link, it's going to show all of the images for every single play for this specific playbook. So make sure you check that out if you need it. Having said all that, let's talk about the playbook. Now, in 2005, Larry Coker was in his second to last season at Miami. Things were starting to wind down there. He kept losing just a little bit more and more each season, but his offense pretty much stayed the same throughout his 6 years at Miami as a head coach, and they ran a pro-style offense. Just a lot of under center, some shotgun as well, but play action, run off of that, things like that. And you can get pretty diverse with a pro-style offense. You can throw a lot of things in there. So I'm going to try to keep that in perspective. Yes, a lot of these playbooks are going to have like a lot of option-oriented stuff, but again, this playbook is really designed to run a pro-style-ish offense, kind of like a West Coast in a sense. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I talk about each play. Now let's look at the formations of what we're dealing with here. Ace Big Twins is your first one. That is a 12 personnel set. Now keep that in mind when I keep saying personnel. Then you got Ace Slot. That's an 11 personnel set. Then you go to Ace Wide Trips. That's another 11 personnel set. I Formation Normal. That's 21. Then you got I Formation Twin Tight End. That's 22. Then you got Gun Bunch. This is a 4 wide set, which is a 10 personnel formation. Then you got Gun Spread, another 10 personnel set. Then you go to Strong Twins. Now we're going back to 21 personnel. And last but not least, we got Weak Slot. This is a 20 personnel set. So after saying all of that, you will notice some trends. You'll notice we got just a handful of Ace. We got Ace Big Twins, Ace Slot, Ace Wide Trips. Then you go to I Normal. Then you go to I Twin Tight End. Then we're going to skip the shotgun for a minute. We're going to go to Strong Twins and Weak Slot. So we got some 2-back stuff. Then we got a handful of gun formations. We got Gun Bunch and Gun Spread. So it's a little bit of a mix. It's more of like a modern, well, I shouldn't say modern. It's just a basic pro-style offense with just enough shotgun formations to kind of get you going. There's a lot of 2-back formations. There's 1, 2, then you have 3 and 4. So kind of keep that in mind if that's what you're wanting. If you want the fullback involved in this offense, then you got some formations to work with there. But having said all that, you got to think pro-style offense. This is run, play action, kind of a diverse passing game. Like I said, you can get kind of complex with the playbook if you want to. So let's start at the very beginning with Ace Big Twins. Again, this is a 12 personnel set with 1 running back and 2 tight ends. And let's look at the sub packages before we look at the plays. We start off with Strong Slot. It just switches your 2 wide receivers. Then you got Halfback Slot. It puts your halfback in the slot. Then you got Backup QB, Tight End Flip. It will flip your 2 tight ends on the right. Then you got Halfback Sub. It puts your backup halfback in there. Then you could put your fullback in at halfback. And then now we're back to the normal setup. So let's look at the plays. And we're going to start off with Post Cross. I like this play. It's a nice deep drop back setup, and I would definitely use it in this offense. I like the scissors concept on the left. You can attack cover 1 man, cover 2 zone with it pretty well. You can technically run this off either hash since you got 2 short side zone beaters with the halfback on the flat and the tight end going on that delayed route. So yes, I think this is a good play for this offense. I would stay away from counter trap. This particular one, it's very slow off the pulling guard action. I'm just not a big fan of it. There should be other counter plays that work a little bit better than that one. Tight end drag, I would use it if you need some under center drop back. It's pretty good. The drag underneath is pretty decent against zone. It can attack man too, but I love having the crossing route by the slot receiver. A lot of that works fairly well. I wish it had a cover zero beater, but again, do not be hesitant to use this in this particular offense. Halfback slam. Everybody knows this is like my favorite under center basic halfback run. You can go inside, outside. It's just great. Make sure you use that as one of your base run concepts. PA rollout. I would definitely use this now since you are going to run a pro style offense with this playbook. I would probably use this off the right hash because you need a short side zone beater with that delayed route. And still a really good play, though. I would definitely use it. You could probably hot route the slot to a go if you need a little simpler cover zero beater, but it's pretty good. I would definitely use it because, again, this is a pro-style offense. You want a little play action in it. Halfback read, I would stay away from it. The blocking isn't very good. Then you got halfback option. Now, again, since we're dealing with a pro-style offense, I would use this as a toss play. This is my go-to toss concept because the real toss in this game doesn't work all that well. You can flip it left or right, and as soon as your quarterback makes his quarter turn and you feel like you got enough time to pitch it to your halfback, just go ahead and do so. Ace arrow is another unique drop back play, and I can go ahead and sim some of this. We can rep it. Now, against man, you can go over to this arrow route like this, just slightly overthrown, but it's very hard for that corner to make a play on it. Against zone, you got another option over here to this tight end. Decent gain there. And go back to zone again. A quarter for zone, the flat's about the only thing you have. Now, sometimes that arrow on the left can get open. You got to be very careful with how the defense is coming across. But against man, you know, you got the arrow, you got the corner route / flag route with the other tight end. But my favorite cover zero beater is actually L1. Or that's Moss right there. It's a wheel route. It doesn't look like it, but it actually is. Let's see if we can pull this off. Something like this, perhaps. Look, it's just a one-on-one situation. We didn't convert it, but you saw how wide open he was, or at least how isolated he was with his defender. I would definitely include this if you need a little drop back in your under center game. Triple wide receiver option for this offense, I would avoid it, although it's a pretty unique play, but it just doesn't fit with what we're trying to do here. Cross, if you need some curl flat, this is a great one. This is technically the only default curl flat play in the game where it's your top two receivers are the curl in the flat. There's no other twin set in the entire game that's got a curl flat like that with your number one and your number two. Yes, you can use sub packages and formation subs to fix that, but by default, this is, from what I remember, this is the only one of the game. So if you need some curl flat, by all means use it. Halfback dive, definitely use it. It's very simple, really good play, especially if you need to try to go up the gut, and especially against weak defensive lines or odd fronts, like 3-4, 3-3-5. PA seam, this is a killer play here against man. It's halfway decent against zone, but it's really meant to attack man. Now, you notice we got two go routes, and we're going to go ahead. We're going to go up against cover zero. Let's see if we can pick one to hopefully I don't get sacked on. Let's go with, if I can find it, like this double safety spy. This may work. Now, you got two go routes. You got your tight end on the right, then you got your slot receiver. A lot of times your tight end can get wide open against cover zero. Let's see if we can get this to work. Look at the spacing right there. And that's actually, I've seen it a whole lot better than this. We could try it again. It may not work again this time. I overthrew that one, but still. Oh, touchdown. Big play potential right here. Now, against zone, you can go to your delay route. Sometimes the dig route on the far left can get open over the middle. It just, you got to be careful because he's kind of deep. Now, with L1 against cover 2, we can try this cover 2 zone. We can go back to the play, PE seam, and we can try against cover 2. If you time it right, you can get the go route on the slot open against cover 2. Now, we may get sacked right here. Something like that, I mean, it's very doable. You just got to be careful. You got to time it just right, but it's still very possible. Definitely include this play in this offense. It's too good of a big money maker type play to not be used, especially in this scheme. Next up, we got PA flat choice, another great play action play. I would use it, technically you can use it off either hash. You can use it preferably on the right hash because against cover 2 zone, that corner route on the far left can do some serious damage. And you got a simple man or a zone beater with that flat route underneath. But that flat route, it's kind of unique. There's not very many play action plays with a flat route as such where he can get open against man. Everybody, when they see flat, they kind of think it's a zone beater, but you can use that against man. We can try that. Let's go cover 2 man. If you really want to get your tight end open against man, you could try something like this. Give him some space to work with. And look at that. Look at all that room he's got to work with. Just a killer play. Again, if you're seeing man, for whatever reason, it just takes a little while for his defender to catch up to him, which is that guy right there. And and it's all because of the play action. We're still in play action mode. You see the quarterback back there still doing his play action thing, and now he's ready to throw it. But by that time, that defender is too late. He's too far behind the tight end. So a big play potential right here with the tight end. So keep that in mind. Definitely include this play in your playbook for this particular offense. Halfback draw, the ones from under center are fine. I would use it if you're going to do a whole lot of drop back from under center. But if not, you're going to be fine with just dive and slam and toss and a few of the counter plays that we're going to look at here in a little bit. Halfback screen, I would avoid it. I'm not a big fan of the halfback screens from under center. I think they take too long to develop, and I think you are going to get sacked more often than not. Tight end dump. This would be a really great play. Technically, it works off either hash, but it would be an amazing play if it didn't have a giddy up in it. There's like a hitch. You look here, we can go over here. You got 2 short side zone beaters. You can go on either hash. You can go to either to the zig on the left or to the swing. But you notice what happens. This is a basic drop back play, but watch. And then it's like it delays itself. I don't know why it does it. So when you go right here, you're still in run mode. For whatever reason, the camera doesn't want to zoom out until you get to about like right here. And then you're back in drop back mode. So your icons won't pop up until like a full second after the play. Just keep that in mind if you're going to call this play. Otherwise, I like it a whole lot. I think the routes work really well together. Especially on the right hash, I think it works best there. But you can, either way, you can work it off either hash. You may want to hot route the corner on the far left to a go if you're going to use it on the left. But otherwise, it's a really good play. Just remember the little hitch in the camera. Strong toss, I would avoid it. They just don't work very well in this game. PA tight end screen, this may be the one play in the entire game that I wish could work well, but it really doesn't. You got the arrow route by your wide receiver. Great against man. It would be amazing if that tight end screen could be good against zone, but I can never get it to work. We can even try against quarters. It may work against quarters, but what few times I've tried, I'm going to get sacked. But here's the problem with the play. You notice right here, the blocking is terrible. He's supposed to have a couple guys block for him. Where are they? He's still by himself. So I mean, even against zone, he has nowhere to go. That guy's going to tackle him. That's why I don't like the play. It's just not designed well. I wish it was, because I love the idea of having a tight end screen. And there's not hardly any of them in the game. Technically, this may be the only one from what I remember. Otherwise, I would avoid it unless you can figure out a way to make it work. And that is it for Ace Big Twins. A really good formation. I love it. Next up, we got Ace Slot. This is an 11 personnel set. We've went through this a couple of times with a couple of other playbooks, and we're going to look at the sub packages for this. You got strong slot, halfback slot, backup QB, tight end slot. If you needed 2 tight ends out there, put your fullback on the back end. Then you got halfback sub, flanker strong. Again, you're just moving receivers around. You could do that with the formation subs if you wanted to. Wide receiver flip, same thing. And we're back to normal. And we're going to look at some of these plays. Now, a lot of these are really going to be effective for this pro style offense. Flanker middle, it would be even better if I had a better short side zone beater than that delayed route. Those delayed routes, you're just taking a chance. You hope he doesn't get knocked down or get stuck on somebody. But as you can tell, it's really meant to go deep. You got 3 deep routes, and that's about it. You do have a positive. You got an extra blocker, but I'm not a big fan of this play. I wish it would have just a little bit more. So I don't know if I would use it a whole lot. I think you got other plays that are better than that. Halfback sting, it's like halfback slam, so I would definitely use it. Although halfback slam is in this formation, so this is kind of a wasted play in this formation. Curl flats, if you're a curl flat guy, definitely use it. You got a mirrored concept, so you can run it off either hash. Then you got slot seam. I'm not a huge fan of this play. I've tried to make it work. It's really meant to go deep, as you can tell, but it's not the best against zone in general. Pretty decent against man. You may want to use it as an audible if you just feel the need to use it at some point. Counter trap, again, I would avoid this one. There are better counter plays in this game, and this one, or in this playbook, and this one is just not all that good. Too slow on the pulling guard. Deep outs. This is probably the best, or at least the most popular under center deep ball drop back play that there is. It's just an incredible combination of routes. You got the 2 out routes, and they're both really deep. You got the slot post, which is like my favorite way to attack deep zone. Then you got the stick route by the tight end. Really nasty play if there's a hole over the middle. That stick route and that post work really well together to attack a middle linebacker or any other defender over the middle of the field. Definitely use it by all means since you have it in the playbook. Next up, PA rollout. Really good play. Any PA rollout in this game is really good because it's quick. It doesn't take long for your quarterback to get out of the play action movement. You can flip it, and you can still have a righty quarterback do just as well with it. I would definitely use it, and this is a right hash play for me because, again, I got a short side zone beater with the tight end delayed route. Halfback slam, again, this is my go-to under center run play. Definitely use it. Halfback screen, I would avoid it. Option strong, I would use this as my toss play for this offense. You can flip it back and forth, but as you notice here, as soon as the quarterback, he does a little quarter turn, and once he kind of finishes his turn, then you can go ahead and toss it. Quick slants, I love this. It's one of my favorite quote-unquote West Coast concepts in the game, especially from under center. You got a slant over the middle that can attack the center, above the center against zone. You got a hitch on the left that can attack zone. But this play is completely designed to get the halfback open on the flare route against man. He can get picked, his defender can, by those 2 slant routes. It's just a killer play if you just need to pick up a few yards. Option weak, and I'm pretty sure we can check this. I think this is the speed option version, and it is. So I'm going to just go ahead and get down. You do not need this play in this particular offense. It's pure option. I mean, yes, you can treat it as a toss play, but it's just much quicker. You don't have as much time to think. So I don't think you would need it at all for this particular scheme. Next up, we got PA halfback out. I like it okay. I would probably use it more purely to throw down the field. You got a good crossing route against man, cover 0 beater on both outsides with the post and the go. Against zone, you're kind of iffy. You got the post and the cross. You can do a couple things there. But if you're just really wanting to attack deep in general, yes, it's not a bad play. Halfback dive, use it. Seamers, you would need to do a little massaging here with a hot route or 2. You got a go post combo on the right, which is great against zone. And it would be great if one of the 2 go routes on the left were like an out route of some sort. So you may want a hot route one if you want to isolate the one beside him. Toss strong, avoid it. QB screen is not a bad trick play. You can motion that slant over to the right if you need a zone beater for your halfback, but if it's man, I just keep it with the halfback. Maybe throw it over the top to that go route, but again, you're talking about a halfback making a throw. Do not expect miracles there. Halfback draw from under center, yes. I don't mind including it in this particular offense. And that is it for ace slot. A really good complement to ace big twins if you want to be under center, 1 back, and you need 11 personnel to work with. Speaking of, we have ace wide trips. This is the sister formation to ace slot, except you got your slot on the right side. Let's look at the sub packages. Strong slot, then you got halfback slot, you got backup QB, tight end slot if you need 2 tight ends in there, fullback if you need your fullback back there, wide receiver flip, that's just a formation sub thing, that's not that big of a deal. Halfback sub, if you want your halfback back in there, of course, that's basic depth chart type stuff there. And that is it for the sub packages. Let's look at some plays. Quick post, I'm not a big fan of. The routes just don't work together. I would avoid it. Halfback dive, use it. PA deep post, this is a very slow developing play action play, but it works well if you got the blocking. I would use it on the left hash because I love having the Mills concept, and all Mills is a post with a dig underneath it, which is what you see on the right. I love having that on the strong side of the field. The post is great against cover 0. It can attack all the man coverages. And then you got the comeback route on the left that's be killer against man. Everything works fairly well together here, but just be mindful how slow the play is. And if you flip it and you still got a right-handed quarterback, it is super slow and you're probably going to get sacked. For example, Let's go ahead and do that. Let's flip the play, and let's go up against a random formation. Now, remember, I have a right-handed quarterback, and look how slow this play action is. Like, he didn't even have a chance to turn around. It's that bad. We can try it again. The odds of you having him come around, look how slow that was. Just awful. I would avoid that, flipping it. If you're going to flip it, make sure you got a left-handed quarterback if you are just destined to use this play. Next up, we cross in. This is one of my favorite drop-back plays in this formation. This is a left hash play for me just because I need a short side zone beater as a safety valve, and that tight end drag is really good. It's one of the better tight end drag routes in the game. Halfback read, again, avoid it. Curl flat, one of my favorite West Coast plays in the game. All four, or technically all five routes work extremely well together. I use it on the right hash because of the curl flat. I need that flat as a safety valve. Tight end corner. I love having a zig route at my Z receiver. It doesn't work as well if it's on the left side if it's the X receiver, but for whatever reason, I can go to this guy over and over again, man, zone, it doesn't matter, and I can get a quick 3 to 5 yards. Looks like they're going zone here, and look at this. Terrible throw. I threw it way too early, but you saw right here how wide open he was. They went cover 3. If I had threw it just a little bit later, this would have been a big gain. I don't want to have one guy to go around to get 6 points. Really good play. We can try it one more time. We're going zone here. Something like this. Easy 5 yards. Really simple. And then you got a cover 0 on the other side with the post route, or you can tag other zone coverages with it. The other 2 routes are just okay. You would think that drag route will be quite effective, but it's kind of deep and it's kind of slow. I'm just not a big fan of it. But all this player really needs is that post route and that zig on the other side. Halfback sting, again, it's a lot like halfback slam. Slam is not in this formation, so this would be my slam. So I would definitely use it. PA boot right, again, it's a PA boot that's really quick. You can flip it with no penalties on the play action movement. My preference, as is to play it on the right hash is because of the short side zone beater from your delayed route. Counter trap, I would avoid it. Flanker post, this is a really good deep ball drop back play. The go post on the right side, you got a stick underneath, and you got a corner out on the left that's good against cover 1, cover 0, and the like. The only problem you may actually have is against cover 2 man, and you may have no choice but to go to the post there. But if you just need to attack deep from under center on the right hash, and if you don't feel like flipping it, definitely use this play for this offense. Halfback draw, use it. Flanker flanker quick screen. I would use this, but just be very careful. Under center screens are really iffy. You can get sacked really quick, but you can get it off kind of quickly. Let me see if I can pull this off. We're going to go up again. It works better against zone. Let's see if we can pull this off. Let me go back to here. And let's go up against cover 2. Like, as soon as you snap it, you're going over here, and look at all this blocking. Look at all that. Yay, so much fun. Look at that, 6 points. And it's all because you get the ball out quick. As soon as I got the ball, I have it out of my hands. Now, be careful. If the wide receiver drops that, that is a fumble. But you have to do it quick anyways. You really have no choice. But look at the blocking here. Just incredible. Great job by the tight end, and you're off to the races. So you see how potent this play can be. Definitely use it if you want to throw a little screen game in your offense. Next up, we have option strong. This is my toss play for this offense. I would use it. Slot wheel, I'm not a big fan of it. There's not any really good man beaters. The zone beaters are not too bad. You may have to hot route somebody. I think there are other drop back plays that you would enjoy more, and we've already covered several of them, so I don't think you would ever use it. Option weak, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is a speed option again, and it is. So I would not use it because you got halfback option. That's the only real outside toss play that you need. So I would not bother with option weak. Wide receiver reverse pass, I would avoid it like the plague. It is awful. 9 times out of 10, it will not work. You'll get sacked in the backfield. It's really tough to work. I wouldn't bother. Same with halfback toss. Again, the regular toss plays do not work in this game. And that is it for ace wide trips. I like it. It works really well with ace slot. You can go back and forth and do some serious damage out of 11 personnel. Now we'll talk about I formation normal. I think this formation has been in every playbook we have covered up to this point, but we're going to go through it again. You're going to look at your sub packages. You got twin halfbacks. If you got 2 really good halfbacks back there, by all means use them. especially if you have a bad fullback. Backup QB, halfback sub, jumbo. If you got two really good fullbacks, you can put them back there as well. Wide receiver flip, it just flips your two wide receivers. Halfback flanker, if you need your halfback out to the wide receiver spot, you can do that. And we're back to normal. So for this particular offense, here's what I would use. Halfback ISO. If you need to go up the gut, definitely use it. This is essentially halfback dive, but with a fullback leading. PA fullback flat. This is Spider 2 Y banana. A nice little triangle concept on the right. The only problem is it is very slow. You can get sacked easily, but if you don't get sacked, you can really do some damage with it. Triple option for this offense, I wouldn't bother. Halfback slam, use it. PA boot, again, any PA boot you'll see in this playbook and the game in general works, I think, pretty well. I would definitely use it, and you won't have any penalty if you flip the play, if you got a lefty or righty quarterback. Counter lead, this is another counter that I'm not a big fan of because the pulling guard is just too slow. We can go ahead and show you this. Let's see, we will go to the left. And we just got destroyed in the backfield. The problem is, you look at this guard, if I can put my cursor on him, something like this. The ball is snapped, and he's still in his three-point stance. He needs to get the ball, or needs to get off the ball quicker. Whatever reason he doesn't. If he was quicker, he probably could have blocked this dude right here. But it didn't happen. That's why I avoid this particular play. Next up, we have, if I can get to it, triple option counter. I would avoid it. You don't need it for this offense. Same with option pass. Power option, I would use it because this would be my toss play. Next up, we got tight end drag. This play is pretty good. It could be a little bit better. You got some decent zone beaters. Everything, most of your action is going to be on the right side. You got a swing route. That's usually meaning I'm going to be playing this off the right hash. The zig on the far right works pretty well. It's just deeper than other zig routes in the game, but it's not bad. You may need a hot route, one of the other two players on a go if you need a cover zero beater. Halfback tackle. This is like one of only two halfback tackle plays in the game. Ace normal's the other one. It's just a far outstretching version of slam. It's a little slower, but it's not bad if the blocking is there. Curls. Again, if you need your curl flat, here's what the one you need from this formation. Fullback dive. Definitely use it. If you got a fullback that can run a little bit, that's a nice little change up to the offense. Wide receiver post. Another good, deep drop back concept. You got the post, you got the wheel, you got the dig, you got the swing. All four of those routes are spaced out really well. My preference is to play on the right hash as is because, again, the swing. Why is that? That's my short side zone beater. Then you got fullback fake toss. I would avoid it. I've never had luck with this play. Even with the great straight-up man blocking that we're seeing, by the time the ball is pitched to the halfback, there's already a defender just kind of waiting on him. I would just avoid it. Halfback toss pass, I'm not a fan of this one. I don't think you'll need it either. Lead toss, avoid it. Halfback angle, this is like the left hash version of that wide receiver post, just in terms of really trying to attack deep. I like the corner route. I like the scissors concept with the tight end and the post on the right. And the angle route is probably my favorite halfback route in the game, maybe outside of flare. And that is it for I formation normal. This will probably be your go-to two-back set in this offense. A lot of good stuff in there for your pro-style scheme. Next up, we got I-form twin tight end. If you need just one 22 personnel set in your offense, this is probably my favorite one in the game, maybe outside of like weak tight. But this is really strong. It's got some good stuff in it. Let's look at the sub packages. You got twin halfbacks. We know what that is. Backup QB, halfback sub, halfback split in. If you don't want any wide receivers in this play, put your top or halfback on the far left, and your backup halfback will go where your halfback was. And wide receiver sub, it just puts in a backup receiver. Tight end flip, if you need to flip the tight ends. And jumbo, you got your two fullbacks in the backfield. Let's check out some plays. Counter lead, again, avoid. The pulling guard doesn't work well. Tight end corners, I'm not a fan of it. It just doesn't have any good zone beaters. You may have to hot route somebody. And the cover zero beaters aren't that great either. So against a man, it's kind of tough. Zone, it's not too bad. Fullback dive, definitely use it if you got the fullback for it. Fullback blast, this is a wasted play because fullback dive and fullback blast is essentially the same thing. You can flip either one as well, so that's a wasted slot. PA boot, again, I would definitely use it. It's quick. I would use off the right hash because I need something underneath of the short side. But it's not too bad if you just want to go to either your fullback or to your wide receiver. Fullback fake toss, no different than the one out of iNormal. I wouldn't bother. Halfback ISO, definitely use it. This is what this formation is for. Pretty much just to go under center with a bunch of big uglies and run the ball. PA fullback flat, this is another spider 2-wide banana look. Really no different than the one we saw from iNormal. I would definitely use it. Just be careful. It's a little slow and you can get sacked. Triple option reverse, I would avoid it for this offense. Halfback lead, this is sort of like halfback slam. Kind of another wasted play in this one because slam does the exact same thing. So I don't know how much lead I would use because I like slam just a little bit better. It's more consistent. PA rollout, I love this play because that little out route, it looks like a zig route in a sense from that tight end on the far right. Great against man, great against zone, and you got a crossing route over the top. Not a bad play, and one thing I like about it, it's play action, and you only got 3 receivers, meaning you got 2 other teammates blocking for you, so the odds of you getting sacked are a little bit lower. Again, halfback slam, use it. Power option, this will be my toss play. Triple option pass, avoid it. And speed option, I would not use it for this particular offense. And look at all of this option, triple option counter. We may have already went through this, and I'm sorry if we did. Triple option counter, lead toss, triple option. None of this will work in this offense. Okay, that is it for I formation twin tight end. A really good, big, ugly 22 personnel set formation. I think it works well in this offense. Next up, we got gun bunch. This is probably my favorite compressed set in the game. It's got some really strong things in it. Let's look at it. Remember, this is a 4-wide set. Now we're starting to spread things out just a little bit. Looking at the sub packages, we got strong slot. We have halfback flanker if you need to put your halfback out wide. Then you got backup QB. You got the fullback if you need to put him in the backfield. Tight end slot if you need your tight end in there. Jumbo if you need a couple tight ends in there as well. That's a unique setup. I like that particular sub package. Then you got strong bunch. You're just moving some receivers around on that one. Then you got halfback sub. Let's look at some plays. Now remember, this is a pro-style offense, and we're now in the shotgun. Most of the pro-style guys, and when they're in the shotgun, they'll just think straight drop back and some draw. So kind of keep that in mind. Deep cross-up. This is my favorite middle-of-the-field play. Definitely use it when you're in the middle of the field. You can attack a safety really well with it, with that flag route and R1, especially against cover 2 zone. And it's got some other good routes to complement it. Speed option. I would not use the speed option in this offense from the shotgun. None from under center as well, but especially from the shotgun, it's really quick. I mean, unless you end up getting a quarterback that is an amazing passer who can also run the ball, then yeah, sprinkle some of this in. But otherwise, I don't think you'll need it. Flanker special. This is a unique play. It's technically a mesh concept with 2 drags underneath with the go post over top. I usually end up using this as like a cover, or not a cover 3, but a 3rd and long play. But the drag routes aren't that excellent. They're not very efficient. They're not very quick. It's just an okay play. You can do some damage with it, but it's got to be like the right scenario. Then you got all curls. If you need some all curl action from this formation, there you go. Then you got halfback draw. Avoid all halfback draws from the shotgun. They do not work. At least for me, they don't. The only time they may work is if you go up against like quarters coverage where nobody's coming to go after the quarterback at all practically. Middle zig in, I'm not a fan of it because some of these routes need to be flipped. Like that out route, it needs to be on the other side. If you're going to have a delay route going to that side, we don't need both on the same side. Just the routes don't work really well together, so I would avoid it. Then you got to clear out all. This is a unique play. I hope I can pull this off. I like this play because of this flare route. It's one of the few flare routes in the game that goes to the opposite side of the quarterback. Usually it would go to the left, where the halfback on his side. But against man and zone, you can technically just go to the halfback and you're good. The other routes kind of are congested. They don't work all that well. The good thing is you got 2 cover 0 beaters, 2 goes. You got square and you got triangle. So if you see cover 0, go to one of those 2. Your best matchup. Otherwise, I can just bounce this to the halfback like this and pick up some really easy yards. And that was against man, if I'm not mistaken. Here we got man again. You got that issue right there. That's one thing you got to be careful of. You got to remember where he's going. He's going between the guard and the tackle, and he can get stuck at times. So just kind of be aware of that. that can happen. But again, zone, it's a good beater as well. But again, just easy yards. I mean, I didn't have to do hardly anything there. And their biggest, here's zone. We can call this one really quick. Look at that. Easy gain right there. Now, the biggest reason why this works so well against man is because 9 times out of 10, his defender is going to either be this linebacker or this safety. And what do they have to do? They got to go all the way across the field to defend that guy. It's really tough. It's just a very unique play. Again, there's just not many pass plays in the game that have this flare route going the opposite direction. When I get back into that playbook editor, start doing some stuff there, you better believe I'm going to start doing more of that. Halfback direct, use it. I know some people think it's cheese. Hey, I've got it stuff plenty of times before. It works well sometimes, other times it doesn't. It's the easiest halfback run play from the shotgun. If you're going to run any from this pro-style offense from the gun, by all means, use it. Corner combo. I like it okay. I wish I had a little bit better for cover zero instead of like that flag route. But you got a flat on the right. What does that mean? Short side zone beater. That's going to be played on the right hash. That I love the crossing routes in this game. Good against man. You can attack zone with them as well, right over the middle. I like it pretty good. Angle outs. This is kind of unique. I kind of wish that halfback, whatever that route is, it's like an out route on steroids in a sense, but not really. That's too positive of a word for that. But it works decent on either hash. But the go routes and the flag, they don't work all that well together. It needs like 2 tweaks to make it really shine. There are plenty of other plays in this game, drop back, that you can use that's better than this one. Halfback off tackle. I'm not a big fan of it. You can make it work, but the blocking has to be great. A lot of times it isn't because you look at the offensive line, they're all slant blocking. It looks like it's zone blocking. And that more often than not doesn't work all that well in this particular game for whatever reason, and I wish it did. Next up, we got PA/QB choice. This is, like, if I'm not mistaken, the only PA read in the game that you cannot throw the ball to the halfback afterwards. As you can tell, he's zoned, he's grayed out. The programmers, they designed it to where he can't catch a pass in it. The downside is the routes do not work all that well together. Like the zig route, you may have to motion him to the left, and you got the post is okay. That corner or the little skinny post on the right is just okay. I'm not a big fan of it. I just don't think the routes work all that well together. What you can do before we move on, if you just want to treat it as, hey, if I see cover zero, I may throw it over the top. Otherwise, I may just hand the ball off every time to the halfback. That's just something to think about. It's up to you how you want to do that. The problem is, this is another issue. The pulling guard is going to where the quarterback is going. It doesn't work well. It needs to be flipped. It needs to be the left guard helping out the running back, but it's not. Either way, it's just an iffy play. Then we got inside wheel. I'm not a big fan of it, mainly because the routes don't work really well together. I like that I got a short side zone beater. I like the wheel routes. That dig route, slant dig, whatever you want to call it, it's just okay. I'm just not a big fan of it. That post route is kind of useless because that halfback is going to get in the way. Route spacing is a big deal in football, and this play just doesn't do a good example of that. QB choice, I love to use this as just a basic off-tackle play for my halfback. This is also meant to run with your quarterback if you got that, but for this offense, I doubt you'll have that. But you can definitely hand this off to the outside. I've been using this a ton in my Duke Dynasty because, you know, you see here your quarterback is on the left, and look at all the blocking he has on the right. Now, that's a terrible example there, but anybody who's watched me play, I may be able to pull this off. Hold on, we'll see if we can. Okay, this is a little bit better. This is what you can normally see. So if you got a quarterback that's slow, just treat this as an off-tackle run. You can keep it. Do not hold down the X button. You can do something like this, but just, again, for this offense, you should never have to bother using that. So just feel free to treat it as an off-tackle run. Next, we got drag halfback corner. I hate this play. It just, the routes are awful. They just don't work well together whatsoever. I've tried to make it work. Like, I wish we can try. I wish this drag route on the right would be a little quicker, but it's really not. And the problem is, it's just too congested. All the routes just do not complement each other. That guy gets bogged. Look at it. Look how close everybody is. This is terrible. This is a terrible way to call a play or to design a play. You should never have anything like this unless you are screening somebody. So just don't use this play. I'm not a big fan of it. Next up, we have PA hooks. This is a unique play. I prefer to use this off the right hash, the little, I guess it's a zig route, little out route underneath the triangle. There's a short side zone beater. I love the comeback against man. You got a post. They can attack cover 0 and some of the zone coverages. The hook route, I don't know if you want to call that a hook, or it's that little swing route with that wide receiver. It's different. It's okay. You think he could get open quite a bit, but it's just something you need to practice. It's an okay play. You can find things that are a little bit better. And again, you're going to be under in the shotgun. I doubt you're going to be using a whole lot of play action anyways, but that's up to you. Wide receiver sweep option. If you're going to use any type of option, true option in this game or for this offense, you can go ahead and use this one, especially if you got a wide receiver that just demands the ball. At least he's going to have some speed, faster than what your pocket passing quarterback is going to have. And you notice wide receiver option pass, it's pretty much the same thing as the true run play, except you got routes which you'll never throw to because it takes too long to develop because you got to give the ball to your halfback for him to throw it. You just won't use it. But one thing I will say before we move on, these 3 plays, this is a little mini scheme. You notice it's the same movement by that slot receiver. Something to think about if you're going to try something like that. And that is it for Gun Bunch. Some really good stuff in it. If you need a compressed set, hey, guess what? This playbook has it. And Gun Spread, arguably the most popular formation in the game. And I think we've looked at this formation in our past playbooks, but we're going to look at it again. We got strong slots. We got halfback slot. You got backup QB. You got tight end slot. You got halfback sub, fullback, and wide receiver strong. And you can put your top corner in the play without any penalty on the rating. And that is it for Gun Spread. Now, for this particular offense, I would definitely use wide receiver curls. Everybody's seen me run this to death. You can do a lot of motion, a lot of hot route options with this, but I love having a curl flat along with a flare route. It's just killer against man. Inside draw, avoid it. PA read, if you need a little play action in your shotgun game, here it is. It works really well. Of course, you can hand it off because it's technically an RPO. I would definitely use it. I think it would complement your offense well. Then you got slot seams. This is a run and shoot setup. You can use it. I like it. I don't know if you'll need it for this particular offense. You got so much other good drop back stuff to work with, but it's not bad. Speed option, I don't think you'll use it. Wide receiver under, I like it. It's got a couple of routes that could be a little bit better, but I love that angle route on the left against man. Killer. The only downside to this play, it doesn't do very well against zone, so kind of keep that in mind. Next up, we got corner strike. If you got the time to throw it, this could be a killer. That switch concept on the left is what this play is all about, especially going to that slot receiver on L1 against cover 0, against cover 1 man, and cover 2 zone especially. If that doesn't work, you can go underneath to complement it. Everything just works really well together, especially that post against another cover 0 beater. It's pretty good. It's just slow developing because, again, look at your 3 main routes. They take a while to develop. Weak off tackle, I don't think you'll use it because QB choice is in this formation as well, and it's quicker and it's cleaner. It's just a little bit better. PA flood, I'm not a fan of it. I don't think the routes work super well together. It's not terrible, but it's not my favorite. Deep attack, maybe the most popular play in the entire game, at least in terms of pass play. You can do so much with it. 2 go routes, you got to go post on the right, out on the other side. All the routes just complement each other so well. If that delayed route was more like a swing or something a little bit cleaner, this would be an even more potent play. Halfback direct, use it. Halfback screen, I give you permission to do a little halfback screen in the shotgun. It works a whole lot better. At least you got some separation between the quarterback and the defense. Double cross, it's not bad. The flag routes do not help anything. Not really. It's all about your post and your dig. Your post, think more zone. Dig, think more man. And you got a swing route underneath as a safety valve. Halfback go, the original smash concept in this game is just okay. It needs help on other routes and other spots of the field to make it work, but this one's not too bad. Quick slants, this is no different than pretty much what we saw from under center in A slot, except we don't have a smash concept on the left. We got a flat and a slant. Either way, your flat's a zone beater, and it's all really about getting to your halfback on the swing route because you got 2 slants, hopefully picking his defender off. Next, you got slot wheels. This is another run and shoot concept. I don't think you need to use it. It's very slow developing. It's all about the post and the dig. Now, you can go to one of the wheel routes for cover 0 if you need it. Just be mindful. It's going to take a while for things to get open. QB choice. This would be my main off-tackle run play from this formation. Wide receiver short post. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think those skinny posts help you at all. I would avoid it. And that is it for gun spread. This will be probably your go-to shotgun formation in this offense. Gun bunch as well, but gun spread just tends to have more stuff. Strong twins. This is another 21 personnel set, and now we're starting to really look like a pro-style offense. Some old school strong and weak. Offset fullbacks. There's some decent stuff in here, so let's look at it. We're going to look at the sub packages first. We got twin halfbacks. Then we got backup QB, halfback sub. Then we got fullback, we got wide receiver flip, halfback slot, tight end slot. Now, this is a rarity. This is one of the few 21 personnel sets that could put your top tight end in the slot. It's usually an 11 personnel set type sub package, but for this one, you can change it up with this one. So do not forget this if you're going to run this formation and you got really good tight ends or at least one monster of a guy that you want to put out a wide receiver. And we're back to normal. Now, let's look at some of this. Halfback dive. Definitely use it. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind with this play, if I'm not mistaken, you can't flip it. This is it's an issue, but it's not a terrible issue because look what dive does. It's meant to go straight up the field. But if you're going to cut left, you got to be quick with it. You got to go over here, or however you want to go about doing that. Just be mindful. Now, that is a strong formation issue with the halfback dives. I think it's a strong normal as well. So just keep that in mind. But it can work just fine, but you just can't flip it. PA slot cross. This is got your flare route with your fullback. Amazing against man, only because of that fullback. The rest of the routes don't work all that great together. You don't have a really good zone beater underneath, especially, I wish it was the halfback, but he's so slow. You got to hope that he goes through the line, not get blocked or get in the way of somebody, and he's got to go over. I think there are plenty of other better play action plays than this one. Strong, counter strong to be exact. Again, this is one of those that just are very slow off the pulling action. The good news is, you see over there a counter weak on the right. That one's much quicker, and we're going to look at that here in a minute. But there's halfback slam. This is your base run play out of the formation. Smash halfback weak. I wish I could. I love the out route and the zig. Anytime you got them both on opposite sides, you can do some simple damage to the defense. And I love the cover zero beater with the halfback. The problem is, you don't have a good short side zone beater. Unfortunately, like we'll go up against zone. Let's pick this again. We're going to go here, and let's go up against basic cover 2. Unfortunately, you can't go over. I hit the button way too early. Let me try that again. Unfortunately, you can't go over to the zig. You can, but it's hard to get anything out of it. You got to time it just right. It's not terrible if you need to get a few yards. One thing I prefer to do is do something like this. You got your tight end. It's a little bit safer of a short side zone beater. You can have this. Sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't. Look how open he is. A little bit safer, if that makes sense. So that's just something to think about. I would definitely use it, but I suggest you practice it some. Now let's talk about counter weak. Let's see if we can pull this off and make this look good. Let's just go ahead and snap it. Now we didn't go anywhere, but look at what happens to the pulling guard. As soon as I snap it, he is off the line. That's what you want to see. Right there. Look at that. He already hit somebody. Unfortunately, he hit him right into our halfback. But again, you can do some damage with this. At least the guard is quicker. You can also flip it. You can do something like this. And look at that blocking. Look at that. Isn't that great? That's the type of pulling action I want to see. So if you're going to ever use any counter plays in this formation or in this playbook and in the game in general, counter weak. Look for that. Next up, we got slot flat post. This is interesting. I like the slot post here. It's not as steep as other slot posts. Let's see if we can pull this off. You got a short side zone beater with the delay if you need that, but against cover 2, we can call against that. You have the post over the middle. I'm going to get sacked. You could hit the middle against cover 2 zone. It's also a decent man beater. Let me try this again if I can. Let's go up against cover 2 man. It's one of the few post routes that can work really good against man. That's just not the good ball placement there. But my preference is something like this. See, it's really good. It's one of the few post routes in the game that's not as steep as normal. And you can do some really good damage with it. You got to flare out with the fullback. You got to cover zero beater with that tight end. Definitely use it. Fullback blast, absolutely. If you got the fullback for it, by all means use it. Now you got PA tight end drag. This one's interesting. We could try it with a right-handed quarterback. I think it doesn't matter. I think it's still pretty quick. And it's still quick, but I got sacked, which is going to be normal. The best thing about this play, say you can go to your tight end, do some damage. The big thing about this play is your fullback. Amazing against cover zero. I would try to pull it off here, but sometimes it doesn't work. But sometimes he can get so wide open on the end. Then, of course, you got to cover zero on the other side. Now, this play is technically meant, it's designed to do something like this. I got a right-handed quarterback. I'm going to flip it. And then we're going to go up against something like this, and we want to go to the strong side. Now my other routes have got more room to work with. Unfortunately, we're going to get sacked. That's going to happen a lot in this particular sack again. Again, play action this game. You just got to be careful. You can do something like this to your tight end. But you notice the deal. Your route's got a little more room to work with if you're doing something like this. So technically, you can work this off either hash and you can flip it too. But it's play action. Just be mindful you can get sacked. Fullback weak. Definitely use it. This is like fullback over, but you don't have as much blocking on the opposite side. Definitely use it. PA boot. It's okay. At least it's quick. If you need a cover 2, we can try a cover 2 zone. See if this works. It's very slow, but we can try something like this. Not bad. We may get a touchdown. Really close. Not a bad play. You need to practice with it some, though. Next up, we got halfback read. Avoid it. Then you got triple option reverse. Avoid it for this offense. Same with option pass and same with triple option. You do not need any of that stuff for this offense. Power option, use it. This is your main toss play. PA fullback corner. I love the combo of the go and the zig. The problem is it's a very slow developing play action. It takes a while. For example, let's see what happens with this quarterback. And now he's ready to go and do something with it. We're going to get some decent yards on this one. If you try to flip it, it's going to be even slower. So keep that in mind. Toss strong, avoid it. And that is it for strong twins. There's some decent stuff in it, but this is one of the formations in the game where you really need to practice some things if you want to use it more. But at least I love the look of it. It looks very pro-style-ish. And last but not least, we have weak slot. This is your 120 personnel set with 2 running backs and no tight ends. Of course, with sub packages, we can make that happen. Let's check out some sub packages. We got twin halfbacks. Then you got backup QB, halfback sub, fullback, wide receiver flip, strong slot, tight end slot. So if you need a tight end in there, you can do that with this. Halfback slot, and then back to normal. So let's look at some plays. This is one of my favorite pro-style under center formations. It's got some decent stuff from what I remember. I use this a lot in my fun and gun offense from a while back. Halfback weak, if I'm not mistaken, you can't flip this. We can check it again. Yep, you can't flip it. So I don't know if I would use it at all. I mean, if you can't flip the run, what's the point? PA rollout, definitely use it, but you kind of notice your under center stuff. It's kind of tough, but I love a go and I love a post. It's really meant to attack deep. Fullback over, definitely use it. A wide receiver curls, if you're a curl flat guy, use it. Halfback corner, I think this is a slow developing counter. We can try it. Yes, you notice the guard here, right here. The ball is snapping, he's still in his 3-point stance. I mean, what the deal? What's going on there? So let's, I would avoid it. I don't think, there may be a counter weak in this play, in this formation, we'll see. Slot cross, it looks great. I love all 4 routes. The problem is they don't work all that well together, mainly because it takes forever for that crossing route to help distract that screen route, whatever you want to call it, a little hitch. Otherwise, it's pretty strong, especially against man. Slot post, you got your go post on the right. It's just killer. All 5 routes work really well together, but it's truly meant to go deep. Halfback smash, this is technically your halfback slam. There are no slam concepts in the weak formations. This is as close as you're going to get to it. At least you can flip it. PA fullback streak. The routes look great. You can do some damage, but it's a very slow developing play action, so be careful. Short post, I would avoid it. The skinny post do not help anybody. Triple option, avoid it for this offense. Option pass, avoid it. Then you got running back corner. Not bad. The routes look pretty spacey, which is pretty good. The only downside to it is your best man beater. I get your comeback on the far left is pretty good. I wish it was the other type of comeback where he goes towards the middle of the field as opposed to towards the sideline. Your slant is a decent man beater, but there could be somebody over the middle of the field. You just got to be careful against man. Against zone, you got your fullback, you got your slant. You can do some damage with it. Power option. This is your toss play. Definitely use it. Wide receiver corner. This is really meant to go to your corner route in the far left or your post. It's over the top. It just screams funny gun. This is like Lonnie in their offense, if anybody knows what I'm talking about there. Hitch and go. If the hitch and goes were just goes, this play would be a little bit better, but it's not too bad. If you want just a simple go post concept, there it is. Halfback blast, maybe the best run play or run concept from any of the weak formations, because against zone, that fullback can really do some damage and get a block on a linebacker on the second level. Wide receiver drag, I like this play. Oddly enough, that drag route is beyond quick. I wish one of the flag or the post would be like a go route of some sort, but I love the flare against man. It's a unique play, but I would practice it some. And that is it for this playbook. So we'll just quickly recap the formations and kind of what we're dealing with. Ace Big Twins, some really good stuff in it out of 12 personnel. Ace Slot, amazing stuff. Ace Wide Trips, not as much good stuff, but some good stuff at least. I formation normal. This will probably be your go-to two-back set in the playbook. I form twin tight ends. I would use this if I just need to do some power running and maybe a little play action off of it. Gun bunch, if you're in the middle of the field, definitely use that deep cross-up, and there's a couple of other decent pass plays to go with it. Gun spread, this is going to be your go-to shotgun formation in this game. It's got a little bit of everything. Strong twins, this is the one you need to practice the most, but it's got some cool stuff in it. And weak slot, if you need a little 20 personnel, if you just like that look. We already went and saw about 4 or 5 good pass plays. And you can run underneath, because if you look, you got 3 wide receivers. The formation is meant to run up the gut, or at least in between the tackles of some sort. Okay, hopefully this was helpful, and I'll talk to you later.